Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for signing up and joining us for today's webinar. I'm Danielle Dybeck, the president and founder of Nine Muses Travel. I'm a boutique travel agency where we custom design journeys that inspire artists, arts lovers, culturally curious travelers who are all seeking authentic arts and culture, history and cuisine for life-changing, joyful discoveries all over the world. And I'm so pleased to be joined by Columba from AmaWaterways. I have had the distinct pleasure of traveling twice on an AmaWaterways ship, the AmaVida, on the Douro River in Portugal. I've done the eastbound and the westbound journey over the years and can personally attest to the fact that AmaWaterways provide beautiful accommodations, excellent local cuisine, fantastic service. I'm still Facebook friends with the cruise manager on my first cruise that I took there. And that also speaks to the people of Portugal. It's easy to make friends there. But was so impressed by always working with AmaWaterways and being a guest as well, that when Columba reached out to me and told me a few months ago now that there's a brand new itinerary with Ama, it's starting in 2023, that is specifically themed for classical music lovers. First of all, what a great partner that she knows me and Nine Muses Travel and the kinds of travel that my clients and followers really enjoy, which is heavily focused on arts and culture, especially performing arts. That she was so wonderful for just alerting me before this was even sort of announced to the general public, that she says, this is going to be perfect for you. And she's right. And so I said, I really want to share this. I was just participating with the League of American Orchestras conference, and they were the first that I was sharing this with. And now I'm sharing this widely with everyone else. We're recording it, so if you are not joining us live, welcome. You're still welcome. You won't be able to ask us live questions at the end, but you can always get in touch with me at Danielle@ninemusestravel.com or visit ninemusestravel.com for my email address, phone number. You can always submit inquiries there as well. There's a chat feature on the website too. So without further ado, I will turn this over to Columba to tell us about this gorgeous, exciting, I'm so excited about it too, this wonderful new itinerary and why it's special and unique. Before I go and turn this over to Columba, sorry, I do want to point out we've got group space held for, wait for it, exactly today, but 2 years from today, June 24th, but 2023 is the sailing where Nine Muses Travel has group space blocked on this particular itinerary, just because I wanted to get something held. But if you enjoy this itinerary and what we're about to tell you about it, and that date doesn't work for you, there are other sailings. Their sailing season for this itinerary is March through June and November. So we can always choose different dates, either for you personally. We can also tailor another group sailing for you at another time, or any other AmaWaterways sailing. Columba is a great partner with Nine Muses Travel, and I love AmaWaterways and what they provide my clients. So now, without further ado, here is Columba. I'm sure.
Thank you, Danielle. I see people are still joining. So for those of you that joined us late, there is a chat feature. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat box. We'll be happy to answer those questions. And it's my pleasure to be here with you today, Danielle. You know, we were just chatting before. It's funny, we met right before this pandemic began, and we talked about this idea, and we talked about customizing a specific itinerary for you. Well, after our meeting, after COVID, after all this craziness, Ama came up with the idea of doing these specific classical music type of cruises that are, you know, geared specifically to that type of clientele. So they really took all the work out for us. They really made it easy. So as soon as I saw the announcement, right? They liked your idea, I guess. So as soon as we heard about this, I had to call you and let you know how excited we were. So for those of you joining us that don't know who AmaWaterways is as a company, we're a small family-based, family-run business based in Calabasas, California. And in this photo, you see the owners and founders of the company, Rudy Schreiner on the left, his wife, Christine Karst, and on the right is Gary Murphy, whose dad was one of the original founders. Now, we've been around since 2002. We're getting ready to celebrate our 19th anniversary on July 1st, I think it is. So we've been around for a while, and you might not know about us because we don't do a lot of direct mail. We don't do a lot of advertising. What we rely on are past guests that come back from a fabulous experience and tell their friends and family all about it. And we rely on travel professionals like Danielle to tell you what the differences are between the different companies that are out there, because we have many competitors. But if you've ever been on a river cruise, and maybe you've been on a big ship, it's the same concept, right? Why do some people choose Carnival, some choose Royal Caribbean, some choose Celebrity? There are differences in the products out there. And what makes us stand out really is that we're a family-run business. We're not a mega company that we can't keep track of where our ships are and what they're doing. The family attitude really just goes down to the basic guests, the staff on board the ship. They make you feel like you're part of the family. And we all have a passion for what we do here. I've been with Ama now for 8 years. I came from the big ships, most recently Royal Caribbean. And the day they announced they were going to put bumper cars on a ship, that's when I said, oh God, get me out of here. I've had enough. I don't want to deal with this anymore. So it's such a pleasure to be with a company like Ama that's family run, not a big, huge conglomerate, that really gets down and dirty, listens to their customers, listens to the agents, and like this idea came out of nowhere, but we hope it's going to be a huge success.
Did it come out of nowhere or did it come from us? We'll never know.
You got it. So, unfortunately, the past 15 months have been terrible for the travel industry, but we are rejoicing now. We're looking to reconnect. We have actually announced our first cruise will be taking off July 3rd on the Douro River, which is yes, that Danielle sailed with us twice. It's easier to control things when we're visiting one country. So Portugal will be the first country that opens up for us, and then France will be next. So I'm sailing on the Paris Normandy cruise on July 22nd. I'm so excited. And then the Danube and the Rhine will be opening soon after. Each country is opening and expanding their protocols and all that. So we are very, very excited just to get back to the rivers. So what we like to say in the river cruise biz is that oceans take you to countries where rivers take you through them. So through this whole pandemic, we're seeing lots of different trends developing. People are thinking differently about how they want to travel, where they want to travel. And this just gives you a beautiful shot of our ship sailing along the gorgeous Rhine River Gorge here. And you can see that we are close to land. We're in close proximity to the land. You're not out in the middle of the ocean. We all heard the horror stories last year when ships were just adrift and no country would take them in. What's nice about a river cruise is that you are traveling within the country. You are close to shore. If, God forbid, something did happen, we can get you off the ship. We can get you to a hospital. We can get you to an airport. You're not just going to be drifting. People are looking for the smaller, more intimate experience. Our average ship carries only 156 guests. And I can say this, I work for Royal Caribbean, that's like a lifeboat on their ships, okay? So, they don't want to be in a floating shopping mall anymore. People want different experiences. They also want to spend more time outdoors, and that's what we do on a river cruise. You're sailing through these gorgeous areas, the Krakow Valley, the Rhine River Gorge. You can step off the ship, you're in the heart of the city, take a walk, go explore on your own, or take one of the many customized tours that we have, that we offer, that are very, very varied, which we're going to get into a little bit more. So
And Columba, I just might jump in while we're looking at this photo to say, for someone who hasn't done a river cruise, that maybe you've done an Alaska cruise, and you know how lovely that is to sit on a deck and you can watch the scenery go by. Even an Alaska cruise is quite distant, whereas there's no time when you're sailing on a river cruise where you can't see anything but the ocean, or even, the scenery isn't very far away. You sit there and you just watch Europe pass slowly by in front of you and unfurl in front of you. And it is so calm. You don't get waves, right? And I'm very susceptible to motion sickness. So I can personally, attest that that doesn't happen when you're on a river cruise. And the scenery is so close on both sides, right? There's no, oh, which side of the ship is better for the scenery, which side are we passing? It's like they're both equally wonderful. And
absolutely.
Those sail times it's not dead time. Boy, you're just enjoying yourself. That's part of the pleasure, is just sailing on the rivers too and watching it just unfold in front of you. It's magical.
Yes, we like to call these sea days, SEE instead of SEA. Get it?
Okay. Yes.
So where do we go? Basically, all the river cruise companies cover the same areas. So we cover from the North Sea to the Black Sea. We offer mostly 7-night cruises, but we do have some 14-night cruises, even some 10 and 11-night cruises. We always offer a pre or post land extension as well, because we feel that, another trend that's going forward is people maybe taking less vacations, but they're taking longer vacations. If they're going to go all the way somewhere, they want to spend as much time as possible in that destination. So that's what we offer them by having those pre and post land extensions. What's nice about the way we handle our pre and post land extensions, they're usually wonderfully located hotels in the center of the heart of the city. And you'll have a cruise manager that travels with you to those hotels. So let's say, for example, you're looking at a Danube cruise that, you're going to start in Prague. You're going to spend a few nights at a hotel. The cruise manager will be there in Prague to meet with you. They'll have a cocktail party that evening. There will be sightseeing included on the land portion of the trip. Then the cruise manager gets on the motor coach or train, whatever the means of transportation is. They travel with you to the ship. They do the 7-night, 10-night, 11-night cruise. And if there's a post extension, they go with you as well. So it really is a very seamless experience. They're there throughout the journey. So say you landed in Prague and your luggage was lost or whatever, you're going to fill out the claim at the airport, but the cruise manager is going to follow up for you and make sure that that luggage gets to you before you get on that ship. So they really make it a really nice experience. So when we're looking at the heart of Europe, we go to all the little landlocked countries that the big ships could never get to. All the big ships are going all the way around where we're taking you right through the heart. So we do the Danube, the Rhine, the Saône, the Seine. We have Bordeaux region of France. We have multiple France itineraries that are absolutely stunning. We have 2 small ships in Portugal, as Danielle mentioned earlier. And we even have some exotic destinations. So maybe you're Europed out and you want to do something totally different. We have a small ship, 122 guests that cover Vietnam and Cambodia. We have a really tiny ship in Africa that sails on the Chobe River, only 14 staterooms, 28 guests. And we, brand new for this year, we'll have a new ship, the AmaWaterways, that will be sailing in Egypt along the Nile River. Now, this presentation today, again, is geared more towards Danielle's group that she has for 2023. But if any of these other destinations have any appeal and you'd like to discuss them further, please reach out to Danielle. She can reach out to me. We could do a more intimate Zoom kind of a call. We just had too many people on this call today to do it that way because we didn't want a lot of interruptions. But we'll be happy to do a presentation for you again that will cover a specific itinerary that you might be interested in. So let's proceed with the presentation. What we're here to talk about today is celebration of classical music along the Danube. Again, June 24th of 2023 aboard the beautiful Ama Sonata. And the cruise will take place from Vienna to Budapest. So let's see where we're going here. It's not a very long distance, but it's very heavily concentrated with wonderful things to see and do along the way. Before we get into the actual itinerary, let's talk about river cruising in general. Then I want to show you some photos of the actual ship and to give you an idea, again, because I know that river cruising may be new to many of you. So the first thing to realize is the inclusiveness. So if you're at all intrigued by this presentation and you want to, talk to Danielle a little further about this, you can give her a call and she gives you the price. You might say, oh, that's a little bit more than I thought it was going to be. What you have to realize is that most everything is included. So unlike a big ship that charges you a great price to get on the ship, but then they kind of beat you over the head while you're on board with all those extra charges, the way AmaWaterways does it, pretty much everything is included. So it's easier for me to tell you what's not included. We don't include gratuities because we feel that that should be at the discretion of the guest. We will give you guidelines, of course. We don't include all alcohol all day. We do include fabulous wines. We have beer and soda also for lunch and dinner. And we even have sparkling wine for breakfast. So if you like to start your day off with a mimosa, you can do that. We don't include spa treatments. We don't include gift shop, obviously, and the hairdresser. But everything else is built in. And the most important thing to realize that's built in are the excursions. And where we set ourselves apart from the other river cruise companies out there is that when you open our brochure or you look at the day-by-day itinerary, actually there's a handout that's available on this side panel. If you can See, you can grab that handout and print it out. Every excursion that is listed on the day-by-day itinerary is included. Will you have time to do them all? Absolutely not, unfortunately, but it's really about having the choices, having the options, and not having to pay extra once you're on the ship. So unlike the big ships, you're going to walk off an AmaWaterways cruise ship with a very little bill, pretty much just your gratuities and any extra drinks that you might want to drink. We already talked about the intimate and personal atmosphere. Our average capacity on the Ama Sonata specifically, it's 156 guests. That's it. All staterooms and public spaces have a breathtaking view, so there's no such thing as an inside stateroom, and I'm going to show you photos, but even the minimum has at least windows. You choose your activity level and type of excursion. So I already talked about, we have a variety of them that we offer, but we also do them at different paces. We have the gentle walker, regular, and the active. And if you think that river cruising is just about seeing churches, town square, and city hall, think again, because we offer a variety of excursions. Well, specifically on the itinerary that Danielle has chosen, there'll be many excursions that feature music, of course, but we have bike tours, we offer hiking tours, we offer lots of different kinds of excursions, so you can go off the beaten path. And even on this music cruise that we're talking about more specifically later, if you're not so much into the music, maybe you're traveling with a few friends and maybe one of the parties like, okay, enough of this, I want to do something different. They can do something different. Just like when I went to Bordeaux a few years ago, all right, the wines are great. I don't really care how you make them, just pour it. I'm done with seeing the process, okay? I want to go see more gardens. I want to see more chateaus. I want to do more biking. You have different options on Ama, and that's what really makes it appealing to many people. The ship docks in the heart of the city. That's the most appealing thing of a river cruise by far, because when you're there in Budapest, you can step off the ship, you're right there. You know, if you're doing the Rhine cruise, you're in Amsterdam, you're right there. Little towns like Rudesheim, little towns that are along the way that you're in the heart of the city, that really makes it special. So there's less motor coaching. Of course, there is some, but a lot less than on the big ships. Enriching daily cultural experiences in small groups. So when we do take you off the ship, you'll pick your shore excursion, and then we'll be broken down into groups, and you'll have a little guide with a lollipop. You'll have your AudioVox headset. You'll pick, say, yellow. You're going to be following the guy with the yellow lollipop, and we do groups of 20 or less. So again, you're not in a group of 40 like you're herding sheep or herding cattle. It's a nice intimate group and makes it for a nicer experience all the way around. Danielle already touched upon the no seasickness. A river cruise is as smooth as glass. It's almost like being on an amusement park ride where you're on a track, you know.
It's a floating hotel, is really what it is. It's a floating boutique hotel.
Yep, and the only time you'll feel a little bump is when you're going through the locks, but that's the beauty of being on a river cruise as well, what makes it very unique. And the fine dining with fresh and local ingredients. You're going to get the flavors of the destination. So you're going to get your Wiener Schnitzel, your soccer tort, you're going to get Hungarian goulash. When you do the France itineraries, the shellfish is amazing. The cheeses are fantastic. So it's like you're dining in that country, but it's brought to you on the ship. They do an outstanding job. And smart casual, leave the formal wear behind, gone are the days of the formal nights. There's no photographers following you around. We do like the gentleman to wear a button-down shirt for dinner in the dining room, but you know, for breakfast and lunch, it's casual. Come as you are, not a problem, because we know that you're going to be out and about. You're going to be touring, biking, walking, so we want you to be comfortable. That's the main thing. So that's really what makes river cruising so special and unique. Now, taking a look at some of the staterooms, this is the minimum category, which I mentioned to you has at least the window. It's a little high, so if you're short, you might have some difficulty. But with AmaWaterways and all river cruise companies, Wi-Fi is included. But the difference with Ama is that you, when you get to your stateroom, your TV is actually your computer. So you have complimentary movies on board that run continuously. So it's like movies on demand. You've got a safe deposit box. You've got a mini refrigerator. Of course, your bathroom, nice reading lights, bottled water is replenished in your stateroom, complimentary. And actually, we've gone green, so we've done away with the plastic bottles. Now we're doing the boxed, we're doing glass bottles in the stateroom, but when you walk off, we're doing the boxed water, you know, like you see in the grocery store now. The next step up from the minimum category would be our innovative French balcony staterooms. So this gives you a beautiful wall of glass. You can't actually step out. There's a railing there, but for people that just like a little bit more light, they don't want to feel like they're confined, then a French balcony may suit you. And then the next step up would be our twin balcony stateroom, where here you get a step out balcony with 2 chairs and a table. You get a French balcony here as well. So depending on the weather, you choose if you want to be totally out or just get some fresh air into the stateroom. And you know, Danielle already mentioned before about the beautiful scenery you're going to see along the way. I would not recommend sitting in your stateroom while you're sailing along. I would really recommend being up on the top deck because
Panorama view. Yeah. Sorry.
exactly.
It's great.
Yep. So you might be missing some gorgeous stuff that's on the left if you're on the right side of the ship. So definitely, if the weather's nice and in June, we can all pretty much guarantee that it will be nice. I would be up on the top deck for sure. And if any of you might consider bringing young adults or teenage children with you, we're the only river cruise company that actually features triples, quads, and connecting staterooms. This came to be with every new ship that we launched since 2016, where we have these accommodations because we joined a partnership with Adventures by Disney. So this turns into a bed. We flip it around, opens this way, great for a teenager. We have true quads, would have a sofa bed here, and then a bedroom on the other side of this wall. So you have 2 TVs, one that faces the living room area and one that faces the bedroom area. And we even have connecting staterooms. So this works out great for if you're traveling with children or friends, or maybe, you know, a parent that you want to kind of keep an eye on while you're traveling. So connecting staterooms are available as well on many of our ships, all the ones that were launched after 2016. Of course, here's the lounge in the very front of the ship. So if the weather is not great, this is the next best place to be because again, you're getting the beautiful views all around you. This is where you're going to come for your evening entertainment, your shore excursion talks, your embarkation, debarkation. And sometimes you'll come back from excursion. You don't want to sit in your stateroom. You want to go have a drink. You want to bring a good book up. There's sofa seating, very casual, nice little kind of, you know, a section that you can section off and enjoy a good book, enjoy a cocktail, and, you know, just relax. And then this is where you're also going to come before dinner, because I forgot to mention, I did say that we don't include all drinks all day, but we do have a 1-hour complimentary cocktail party every night before dinner. So if dinner's at 7 o'clock, the cocktail party starts at 6. If it's 7:30, it starts at 6:30. So it's a great way after spending the day out, enjoying the scenery, taking in the sights. People come together, they have a drink, and then they walk down to the dining room and dine together as well. So cocktail party, then down to the dining room. The dining room will accommodate all guests in one seating. We work with an open seating policy, so you can just walk in and join whoever. This is a buffet station that's open for breakfast and lunch, which now during the COVID time is not being used as a buffet station. It's going to be a served buffet, not a self-serve buffet. But, you know, things are changing. We'll see how that progresses and hopefully in the right direction. But in addition to the main dining room, which offers a different menu every single night, you always have your chef's recommendations. Then you have your regular choices. There's always basic things like a steak, like chicken that you can order if you're not into the fancy stuff, but there's lots of variety. And again, the wines change every night and they're all included. If you don't turn your glass upside down at dinner, be careful. It just keeps on flowing. One of the nights of the cruise, you might want to dine in our Chef's Table restaurant, which is very unique. There is no additional fee to dine here. And what's unique about it is that you don't get a menu where you choose from. It's a multi-course tasting menu. So everything's already been selected. Everything's been prepared for this specific menu. The menu here stays the same all week long. So people usually just go one night to do something different. It accommodates 24 to 28 guests, but you see lots of glasses, lots of silverware. It's beautifully presented. The maitre d' as you walk in will introduce himself, the staff, the wines they're going to be serving, and behind the glass you can see the chefs preparing the meals, and then it's all presented to you beautifully. My favorite part is the dessert. You get all 3 on a plate. You don't have to make any decisions, and it's all very, very nice. And of course, the food not only looks great, it tastes great. We're part of the Champ de Retouture, which is a culinary institute. If you have any kind of health issues or dietary restrictions that we need to know about in advance, please let Danielle know. We can take care of most We always have a gluten-free corner. We always have sugar-free desserts. You know, if you have any kind of allergies to anything, just let us know and we could take care of most. After dinner, you'll make your way back up to that main lounge where you'll enjoy the evening entertainment. Now, if you've been on a big ship and you're looking for Las Vegas, if you're looking for Broadway, that's not happening here. Again, it's local entertainment to give you, again, the feeling of the destination. Of course, for the music cruises, I'm expecting it to be a little bit more musically geared. Like here you see music and then you see a dance troupe. It could be a combination. That's too far out to really say, but that's what we usually offer. We don't have like a stand-up comedian, you know, telling silly jokes or anything like that. It's really more of a cultural experience available. And the piano player is there before dinner. After the entertainment is over, he stays till the last person leaves. The bar is open until the last person leaves as well. But it's so different from a big ship. You know, my first time going on a river cruise, I was a little nervous because I'm a big show girl and I love casinos. And I thought like, oh gosh, what am I going to do at night on this ship? But you're out all day. You're enjoying the fresh air. You're enjoying a very, very leisurely dinner. Nobody's rushing you out of the dining room. Like I said, the wine keeps coming. I fill up my glass, I bring it up to the lounge. After a little bit of that string quartet, by 10:30, I was done. So you don't think like you're missing out. Don't think that you need that because it's really a very, very full day. You're not sitting up on the top deck drinking pina coladas and napping like you do on a big ship, right? You're really, you know, getting.
I'll say, you know, on the Portugal cruise that we did, there's a Portuguese folkloric dance ensemble, and they're singing traditional and some contemporary fado songs, but it's very authentic, and it's so interesting because it's not music or dance that you know, who's familiar with that unless you're from that region or grew up with those traditions. And I will also say, as far as the entertainment goes, the pianist, who's like your musical director, if you will, through the cruise, um, both times that was the person, them and the bartender in the lounge we end up palling around with, because at night, you know, they're just so engaging and funny and so talented, and you know, they'll burn the midnight oil with you and keep you up dancing if, you know, if it's just you and, you know, 5 friends, but they're up for it, and they're good fun. They're good fun. It's not
Absolutely will. I've heard
yeah,
stories.
it's like a house party almost, you know, when you're there with them.
Exactly. Yep,
Yeah.
it's really great. And now features on board the ship that really set us apart from our competitors, and especially again with this cruise being in June, it'd be a great time to enjoy the pool up on the top deck. Our small ships have just jacuzzis, but our larger ships have a pool. All of our ships have a masseuse on board. They all have a hairdresser on board. They all have a gym on board. And new in 2019, we introduced wellness coaches on board as well. So they're there to get you up in the morning, do a little core strengthening, resistance band training, and whatever their specialty is. So if one of them is more of a yoga instructor, one might be a Tai Chi. I heard that one is a Zumba instructor. They do dances. So it really varies from ship to ship. But they're there to really just get people moving, make things a little bit more active, make it fun. You know, I want to, like, whenever I do these presentations and I talk about it, I say, you know, it's not your grandfather's Oldsmobile or whatever that commercial was. River cruising has evolved so much, and we're getting younger and younger clientele. And AmaWaterways has really been in the forefront of that because of the fact that we are welcoming more families on board. You know, kids have been cruising since they're babies, and the grandparents, the parents, aunts and uncles like me, they want to take their nieces, nephews, grandchildren, whatever, to new places. And, you know, if they've got, especially if they've got roots in this part of the world, it really opens up a whole new world for these kids. Like, they can see the real castles, the real palaces, the real places where history was made. And that's what's so special about sailing on a river cruise with a family or just as a couple. If you've been there, done that on the big ships, like me, then you've had enough. This is the next best thing. So you want to do this after being there. And, you know, many people come and say, no, I could never go on a ship with 5,000 people. This is the only way I cruise. So we really get a blend of the two, the people that have been there, done that, and people that say, never, I'll never go on a big ship. So that's really what we accommodate. And again, the excursions are very, very varied. So again, the one that Danielle has chosen will have a lot of musical influences, But on any of the others, we do the tulip time cruises, we have Christmas market cruises, we have specific cruises that are geared more towards visiting vineyards and wineries. So we have lots and lots of options for you. So let's get back to this. This was Danielle's brainstorm of an idea that she approached Alma with, and we said, yes, we're going to run with this. So the beauty of this itinerary is that it starts in Vienna, and you will actually spend 2 nights in that beautiful city, which is not the norm for us. Some of our itineraries offer 1 night in Vienna, but none offer 2 nights. So that's very, very special, because Vienna really is the birthplace of so much classical music that we feel we need to spend the time there. So we're going to go through the day by day. So this is that's the Opera House in Vienna. But this is what's included. I've got to just hold on one second. I got my little boxes in the way here. I got to move this over so I can read properly, because I don't have this all memorized. This is my first presentation that's featuring this new itinerary.
This is hot off the presses. We're the first ones that jumped on it.
Yes, it is. So it's a 7-night cruise, as we mentioned. There is a post-land extension, which we'll talk about. So just the inclusions that we're going to cover. So the Budapest Opera House with a recital that you will be enjoying. So we're going to start off with that. Actually, this is in the opposite direction, I just realized. So Bratislava walking tour with music components. So what that means is they're going to be doing, like, as you're doing the walking tour, there'll be little vignettes taking place, musical, maybe a trio or a quartet that will be there to greet you in different period costumes and that kind of thing. Vienna, you'll have an evening concert and classical music composers walking tour. Salzburg, excursion with Mozart's birth house and residence, and a music recital there as well. And then Melk Abbey, which, oh my God, I'm going to show you a picture of that in a few slides coming up, which is pretty spectacular. And then we're offering a post 3-night Krakow extension, which is totally optional. But as I said earlier, people are looking to go away and do things that are different. They want to stay away longer. If Krakow is not your cup of tea, Danielle could work with you to curate anything, another destination that's easily accessible from Budapest, which many cities are. So that's not a problem. And as Danielle mentioned, we've got a few sailings. We've got March, April, May, June, and November of 2023 that we'll be offering this specific itinerary. Here's a gorgeous shot. Vienna, really the imperial city. So when we reach Vienna, you'll have multiple choices of excursions. And I'm just going to read these off quickly and realize that these are all included. But again, you won't have time for them all. So you'll have to pick and choose. So Vienna Imperial Tour, or the Vienna City Tour by bike, or there's soccer and coffee, with the soccer torte, that wonderful chocolate delectable delight, composer walking tour, or just free time to explore on your own. That evening on the second night, because you're going to arrive, and then the second night you'll have an evening concert. Transportation will be provided, and you will take you to the concert hall here, the beautiful Vienna Opera House. The next day, again, another shot of Vienna, of course, Mozart statue, Schönbrunn Palace, which is amazing. So the walking tour there will highlight all of the composers' statues throughout the city. And then Melk Abbey. Now, this is a place that I've been to many times, and I've been to Italy, many different churches all over Europe. Melk Abbey just blew me away. It is spectacular. So when you're in Melk Abbey, you'll actually get a choir performance, which is very rare, but we're arranging that for you. So you'll get the Melk Abbey hike. You could do a bike tour as well as this concert. So depending on the time of day, I think we spend a little bit of time there, so you'll be able to choose there. Next stop will be Linz in Austria. Now, Linz is really just the docking place, but you can do some, you can do the full day Salzburg excursion with the Mozart birth house and residence that's part of Salzburg. So you can do the UNESCO City of Media Arts walking tour with the Mozart house, or the Cultural Mile bike tour. So if you're musiced out, you want to do a bike tour instead, just look at the beautiful scenery, gorgeous Salzburg. There's Mozart's birthplace, and this happens to be a really bustling street. I love being on the street. The first time I went here, it was not a nice day. It was pouring rain, unfortunately, and we had time to kill. So you stop in a little cafe, have a little piece of something, a little croissant, a little soccer torte, and enjoy just walking around this beautiful street. The next stop would be Bratislava, which will be scenic cruising towards Bratislava. This is the Coronation City walking tour with musical performances. You'll have an option for a taste of Slovakia, so you'll get all the little delicacies that are available there. The Bratislava Castle hike, that's the castle that you see. There's also a bike tour available here. Before we then head to Budapest, this is a beautiful shot of the Parliament building. You know, Budapest, what's great here is that you do go get an overnight, because Budapest by day is amazing, but by night it is spectacular. And I know that Danielle could talk to you a little bit more about Budapest. She said she spent a couple of weeks in Budapest in her
I
young
did.
days,
Yeah,
right?
I did. I have a friend who lives there, and I turned 30 just moments ago, let's pretend. But this was a little while back. And boy, to see it by day, you want to backtrack and see it all again by night. It's especially Fisherman's Bastion, which is what this picture is showing. It's high up on the hill. So Budapest is split up into the Buda section and the Pest section. Buda is the hilly part and Pest is the flat part. So this is the hilly part by the castle. And I visited my friend. I would sightsee all day, and then she'd go to work, and we'd meet up, and she would hear my stories about what I did with myself all day, and swam in the baths and the opera house. I did a day cruise even along the Danube myself. I love the city. You can easily spend 2 weeks there and really settle in and do in-depth enjoyment of this city. It deserves a longer stay for sure.
Yes, and you will definitely visit the Opera House here with a recital as well, and the Liszt House with museum, who Liszt was, I guess, the rock star of his time. He was Hungarian born and just multi-talented, really touched on many different aspects of music. I think in the 1800s, we'll do the Queen of the Danube tour, or the Hidden Budapest tour, which takes you like kind of behind the scenes throughout the city of Budapest, or the Castle Hill hike. So you'll have, like I said, 2 days, full days in Budapest, which Danielle can attest is not really enough, but what can we do? There's the visit to the Liszt House and museum. So that's another musically curated excursion for you. And then once you disembark the ship in Budapest, that's when you have the option to take the excursion that will take you to Krakow. Now, this will be done by motor coach. It's very interesting because you'll be touching 3 different countries in one day on that motor coach tour. You'll be leaving Hungary, you'll be touching upon Slovakia, and then you'll end up in Poland. So when you disembark, the drive will take you to Krakow. You'll check into your hotel. The next day, you'll have a Krakow city tour with a castle visit to Jewish heritage, Schindler's Factory, with St. Mary's Trumpet Call as well. So Schindler's Factory, you'll see, where Schindler worked, some of the workings behind the scenes there, what went on. There's lots of artifacts that were saved. If there's any Jewish heritage that's in your family, this is probably something you'd want to see. Also, the next day you'll do, that same day, excuse me, so that will be covered in the morning. The afternoon, you have some free time. And don't forget, the cruise manager is with you on this, as well as local guides while you're on the tours. So they really are there to just give you every insight they have. With the free time, they'll give you tips, they'll give you advice, where to stay, stay away from, where to go. If you want any recommendations, that's what they're there for. Day 3, we'll then visit Auschwitz. So that's pretty much a full day excursion with, I guess, if you get back, free time. And then the 4th day will be transfers to the airport. So again, this package is totally optional. And if there's something else you'd rather do instead, Danielle and I were talking before the presentation. She goes, I don't know, this kind of sounds like a little bit of a downer after that beautiful, historical and musical tour. But I said, you know what, you got to give people the option. This might be something that they'll never get a chance to see again. And if they're all the way over there, why not jump on this opportunity? But there are other options available to you. And Danielle can talk about that with you individually to go over some of those options. So AMA means love. We put love in everything we do. Happy faces, just all around our ship, family cruises, couples, singles. If there are any singles that are listening in, we do often have single specials. So we can go over that with you. They vary by departure date, but we can see what's available on your specific dates that you're interested in. So as we say, the rivers continue to flow, as does the music, and we look forward to welcome you aboard an AmaWaterways ship, whether it's with Danielle's music cruise or any of the other destinations that we go to. Danielle can book any of those for you. So we look forward to welcome you, and we'll open it up to questions if there are any.
Thank you, Columba. I feel like we should rename it officially Danielle's Music Cruise. I like that. The whole itinerary. Danielle and Columba's Music Cruise.
This is our trip. So do we have any questions? Do you see anything? Oh, I do see a question about airfare here. Yes, AmaWaterways can provide air for this program. We do have contracted air, but it's too early for 2023. But keep it in mind for any other departure, we do have air. And what's nice about booking the air with us, or through Danielle, obviously, is that when you do the air with us, all the transfers are included. So say you're doing the pre-package, you would get your transfers to the hotel. Then you would get the transfers from the hotel to the ship. When you get off the ship, you'd get the transfers to the hotel or to the airport, whichever. So when you do the air with us, it's all inclusive.
And it's also, correct me if I'm wrong, Columba, AmaWaterways has contracted air rates, which are less expensive than you would find what we call published airfare, what you would find on your own.
That is
It contracts with the airlines for lower rates.
That is correct. But sometimes, if we do come in a little bit higher, because maybe we're using a different carrier or something, it's still, worth it comparing, because if you were to pay for the transfers, you might find that it's very expensive. So if we're coming out a little bit higher and have all the transfers included, it's probably a better bet anyway, just to double check. And we also have business class air that we offer. So if you don't want to fly economy, we can offer business class. A lot of people have points. They want to use their own points, which is fine. We can do that. And then we can sell you the transfers.
Mm-hmm. Yep, wonderful.
Okay.
Let's see, what other questions do we have? Do you want to talk about the deposits and how that works?
Very good. Yes, I forgot to mention that. So the nice thing about AmaWaterways, unlike our major competitor, is that we only require a $400 per person deposit to hold your reservation. So even if you're looking at 2023, $400 per person, $800 per couple will hold your booking. Now, your final payment won't be due until 90 days prior to departure. So it's just nice to have something on the calendar, something to look forward to. Unfortunately, if you do cancel, prior to making your final payment, if you have that $400 per person down, you will be penalized 50%, because we just don't want people tying up our inventory. But $400 is nominal. There are companies out there that want full payment now for 2026. That's how ridiculous they are. And people do it. I don't get it. But we only require $400 per person. And then you'll have something to look forward to.
And it ties in with why we're talking about 2023 right now. Obviously, we know what's going on in the world. It's painfully obvious. And I speak from experience. All my clients who had trips booked in 2020 have moved forward into 2021. I've already had to reschedule from earlier this year some 2021 trips into 2022. So if you think you can wait until last minute for even 2022, I'm always telling my clients, I'm advising all of my clients, my followers, just put something in place to hold whatever trip that you want, just to get the availability, because it will pain me almost as much as it will pain you to have the idea of the beautiful trip that you want and have no availability, or the rates will be skyrocketed because of such limited availability by the time we get to 2022 next year, or even 2023. I mean, these cruise lines of every kind, every size ship, we're selling further and further in advance for all of the reasons which we all know what's going on in the world. These are safer times ahead. So that being said, I offer all of my clients the option to purchase travel insurance, trip protection plans, which will cover deposits, covers anything you wouldn't get refunded if you were to cancel the day before you traveled, basically. So there's no reason to not get the space you want on whatever trip it is. This cruise, another cruise, this cruise but a different date. Just please get a deposit down. This is not even me being salesy. This is me, my genuine wish for you that you have the trip that you want, because I've just returned from my own travels recently, and it was, I mean, only to Pittsburgh. It wasn't even some of their beautiful, like the Danube, magical castles and the milk choir singing in my ears and filling my soul with that joy. It was, I mean, it filled my soul with joy because I saw my friends and family, but just the feeling of, oh, it was I came back so rejuvenated just from that break from the routines, and you kind of forgot, like, this is one of the reasons I travel. It's just you need a break, and we all need a break. And I
Absolutely.
want
And you're
you,
absolutely right
if
about
it's
2022, how much it's filling up so
right,
quickly.
right.
We have lots of opportunities and availability. If anybody wants to travel this year, we have great availability, because what we've done, Danielle, is we've had to consolidate sailings because many people moved already.
Mhm.
We had 20 people on one ship, 10 on another. We're consolidating because we want to, limit the amount of ships with less people. So we're trying to fill them now, and things are moving. Like we said, France is open, Germany's open, Portugal's open. So, if you've got an opportunity, want to go somewhere this year, definitely contact Danielle, and we can definitely have solo traveler rates available, 10% in the minimum category, 25% supplement in the balcony staterooms. But if you're looking for something further out, just grab the space, put your deposit, and let it sit. You have nothing to worry
Absolutely. And when Columbo says fill the ship, keep in mind we're not talking about
about.
thousands and thousands of passengers. We're like, picture a small boutique hotel that has what, like 70 rooms
You
or
say,
so.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a 70-room hotel is a small boutique hotel, and it's just kind of flip it from vertical to horizontal and put it on the water, and that's you, right? These are
Unpack.
not they're
Mm-hmm.
not large resorts, on the ocean. It's like a little resort, and you just flip it and you're sailing. And you
Yep.
unpack once. That's the beauty too of a river cruise. You settle in, you unpack once, and the ship is taking you along so smoothly, like you said, like glass. It's just so calming and beautiful, beautiful scenery. And we didn't even talk about prices, but it's on the handout. We get a discount with any group. A minimum group is 5 staterooms is the
Correct.
minimum that you need. So if you aren't available for this date, the June 24th sailing, then just know you can choose another sailing date in either direction, because they go Budapest, Vienna, Vienna, Budapest, back and forth. And if you have your own group with your own organization or friends or family, if you feel like you can get 5 cabins together, you get the group discount, which is great. And there's even a possibility of added amenities and extra discount, perhaps, I know, for the group leader with a group of 5 cabins. So this is to present this itinerary to you to let you know I'm thinking of my clients. I want you to have availability on this cruise. So I've gone ahead and set aside the space. I have a group contract with Ama for these dates. We have cabins. So know that June 24th, 2 years from today, you have 2 years from today when we're on the Danube and we're saying hello to Vienna. You're going to say, Danielle, it was 2 years ago. You had that webinar, and look how that time has flown. And aren't we so glad we're here? Just picture that. I myself am considering going on this cruise with you. It's quite possible. So let's um, let's picture that happy moment 2 years from now when we're on this cruise or any other cruise. I'm here for you. Obviously, I love working with AmaWaterways. They're they're marvelous. I have no hesitation, reservation about any aspect of an AmaWaterways trip. I know that you are well taken care of.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We like to take care of you too. So thank you again, Danielle. I appreciate the time today. I appreciate talking to your clients and see what we can do.
Great. Yeah, I look forward to our long partnership continuing. Columba, you're great. And on behalf of everyone attending and who will watch this at a later date, the recording, thank you for your time and speaking with me and the Nine Muses Travel community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.